Yesterday, we tackled capital gains tax. Today, negative gearing. And this one could have enormous consequences, not just for investors, but for first home buyers, tenants, and the broader property market as a whole. So, what is negative gearing? In simple terms, when an investor owns a property and the rent doesn't cover the cost of that property, they're normally running at a loss. This is what many people forget. Yes, owners pay a mortgage, but there's also rates, insurances, holding costs, strata costs. That means many properties already run at a loss from the first few decades when owners buy them, especially if you're living in like a big city or you're looking in the Blue Mountains where we work. Traditionally, negative gearing helped encourage investors, as the loss could be offset against other income, like wages, helping make investments stack up. Under the new proposed changes, existing investors are grandfathered, which means they keep their current benefit. This makes any investment that they have established before the budget night pretty special, as they'll retain that negative gearing benefit. For new builds, this is great. Negative gearing will still stay in place, and that's a positive. Many future buyers of established homes may lose the tax benefit. The government says this will create more opportunities for first home buyers. Let's dive into that. 31 to 32% of homes in Sydney are actually investment properties, meaning out of every 10 properties, 7 would be owner-occupied, 3 would be investments. The government's saying that this scheme is designed to encourage investors to sell so that a first home buyer can pick up one of these homes, okay? Which is great. A first home buyer gets the opportunity to own a home. Where does that leave the tenant? If the tenant's left with 8 out of 10 properties being owner-occupied, what happens to rent and where does that leave the tenant? Now, one important factor that kind of counteracts that is the fact that they're saying that if you grandfather the properties that are established investments now, the investor could hold that property. And then we're back to square one. So only time will tell. Now, the government says these changes will help first home buyers. And they're also promising billions in infrastructure to help unlock more housing. And look, that all sounds really, really positive. But here's the bigger question. If the real issue in Australia is not enough houses being built, if builders are already dealing with rising material costs, labour shortages, taxes, infrastructure, contributions, council charges, and approved delays, wouldn't one of the most direct ways, the easiest way to improve affordability be to make it easier and more viable to build more homes in the first place? Because at the end of the day, more homes built means more stock. More stock means more choice. Historically, when supply improves relative demand, affordability improves. So the biggest question is, are we solving the cause or are we simply moving homes from one group to another while potentially putting more pressure on tenants? So look, that's the question. Tomorrow, we bring it all together. And when we bring it all together, we look at budgets, changes, interest rates, and what's ahead.